How do we solve our problems and, more importantly, clear our confusions? Do we have a narrow mind and just find problems upon problems, or do we have an open mind and look for solutions and eventually find one? That's the question that this verse is asking us. Hi, my name is Varun and welcome to episode 14 in Decoding the Bhagavad Gita. Now, it is in these three verses that Arjuna develops a sense of confusion and a feeling of distress in his mind. And this happens after he looks at both the armies, where he sees nothing but family and friends. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a great deal of poetic exaggeration that is used, which is to tap into the reader's mind and make the reader feel what Arjuna is going through at that very moment. It says his mouth is all parched up, his limbs are not moving, and the hair at the back of his neck is standing up, and he doesn't know what to do. His mind is completely reeling. So here, this poetic exaggeration pretty much sums up what he was going through. Now, such a man, if we take in our times on what he is going through, it is something like he doesn't know what to do, and he's oppressed by doubt, confusion and distress, and he's totally directionless. It is the feeling of how the aspect of reaching heaven, the being of riches, the comfort of human affection is slowly slipping away from his hands. And this is actually needed. Though this confusion is very hard and brings about an intolerable sadness, it is actually needed for those who aspire for the vision of truth. And that is the path that the Lord is trying to get him to, which would eventually clear his mind and prepare him for battle. Now, for this story, I have an interesting analogy, so let's go for that. So this story is set in a fictional village where all the villagers are blind. They believe that a world of darkness is what eclipses around the globe and a world of sight is a lie. So these people have a tradition where they actually view a certain tree to be sacred, and they take the fruit from that tree, remove the seed away as they feel that the seed is poisonous, and give that fruit pulp to every newborn child as it is believed to boost their immunity. Now, they are able to manage their day-to-day activities in life just as normal as how people with sight can. But for them, sight is actually not a factor. So as their life goes on their daily basis, there is a traveler that passes by this village. And as he sees this village, he notices that this village has a very eerie feeling to it, that all the people are blind. On first sight, he thought that this was a myth. But later on, he realized that, okay, there is something here that we have to discover. And he tries to reason with them by saying that there is a world of sight and darkness is not all that the world has to offer. But the villagers absolutely reject his claim and say that this man is actually talking total nonsense and he's a total alien creature. But however, both parties are so far matured and they don't try to do anything superior over the other. So this traveler is intrigued by this entire village and tries to befriend one of the village families and decides to, or requests to stay with them to just discover more about this village. So that village family accepts and he stays with them, and upon staying with them is when he realizes that these people have a sacred tree, and that fruit, that magical fruit which is boosted immunity in all the children, he discovers that. So he is intrigued by that fruit and he wants to taste that fruit at least once. And it is also portrayed by children to grandfathers and grandmothers alike that that fruit is a special fruit in this world. So one fine morning, he decides to climb up the tree and take that fruit, and listening to what the villager's story, he throws the seed away as the seed is poisonous and eats only the fruit. The moment he ate the fruit, he had lost his vision. So now the maturity had died down and he stumbled his way across the street shouting that I have lost my vision, and you people too are losing your vision or completely lost your vision, not because of some sort of curse or some sort of genetic issue, but it is due to this consumption of this fruit on a regular basis, and your theories on how sacred it is are totally baseless. Now, since it is sacred, their sentiments were hurt the moment the traveler made these claims. And this news spread across the village like wildfire, and it eventually reached the village king. So the village king summoned this traveler to court and said that we are going to sentence you to death, but we are not going to give you an ordinary trial where we hang you like we hang the guilty, but rather we are going to give you a special penalty. You disrespected our tradition, you disrespected our culture, and more importantly, you mocked our belief. And for that, the best penalty for you is you eat the poison in the form of that seed. So the soldiers took all the seeds that they can and they made it into a poison pulp of that seed, and they gave it to this traveler. This traveler tried to resist at first by saying that you guys are making a ginormous crime, so please think again. But anyways, the villagers went ahead by giving him that poison, and they gave him that poison and threw him away to the bushes. After eating the poison, after several minutes, he not only lived, but he also got his vision back. The irony of how the seed was perceived for years by these villagers as the poison had gotten this guy's vision back. Now, more or less, this is a giant metaphor which says that the problems in our life are only equivalent to that fruit which we have in hand, but the solution to that is always embedded, much like how the seed is embedded in a fruit. Now granted, many of us always know that the seed is there as the solution, but very few embrace the seed as the solution. And that is what this traveler accidentally got, and he had given to all the other people as the solution once he had got the vision. Now this story is also made in form of a movie, which you can see right here. Now that's the question from this verse. What do we do when we have some sort of problems in our life? Do we have a narrow mind and look for problems upon problems, or do we have an open mind and look for a solution? Now don't you forget, guys, it will always lead the way, and all you have to do is free your mind. Now also, guys, don't forget to hit this subscribe button right here so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Click here to view our most recent upload, and scroll down to the description box below to check out the literal translation of the verse. And as always, thank you for watching, and until the next episode, it is goodbye.